Now, the 15th BRICS Summit in Durban has sparked an international relations debate as pressure mounts on South Africa to arrest Russian President Vladimir Putin. It comes after an arrest warrant was issued by the International Criminal Court last month. We are now getting some analysis as we're joined by Daily Maverick business editor Tim Cohen. A very good evening to you. Thank you so much for your time. I suppose there are some very crucial questions that will be asked as South Africa hosts this 15th BRICS Summit. One question, of course, revolving around a Russian leader, Vladimir Putin, whether or not he'll be attending in person. And if so, what is at stake?
Hi, Mpo. Yes, thanks very much. It's great to be chatting. South Africa's in a pretty pickle about this in this situation because on the one hand, South Africa wants to remain part of the BRICS grouping. It's a very important kind of diplomatic effort. On the other hand, it also wants to remain part of the International Criminal Court. And the court has now issued a warrant for arrest for Putin. So South Africa is currently the chair of the BRICS grouping, and there's supposed to be a summit in August. And there is, in fact, already an invitation has been issued to the Russian leader. So it's difficult to know what's going to happen.
Yeah, and especially looking at Foreign Minister Naledi Pandor, who's also been very critical, her description of Russia as a long-standing friend, but then, of course, the so-called elephant in the room. What about international law? Where does that fall in place?
Exactly. I mean, I'm not an expert on diplomacy. I'm just a sort of journalist. But I do think that South Africa's really dropped the ball here really badly. South Africa's always tried to stand more for the idea of international human rights than to play big power politics. But now that it's part of the BRICS grouping, it's it's a very kind of difficult diplomatic sort of ball that it has to, hot potato that it has to juggle, right? But in my feeling is, for what it's worth, what South Africa is doing is really ham-fisted. We should be more definitively independent and definitely more respectful of international law and also the majority opinion in the United Nations. But the South African Department of Foreign Affairs and the Minister of Foreign Affairs has really just really gone hell for leather down the road of supporting Putin, and I think long term that's a big mistake.
Yeah. Very well. Thank you so much. Unfortunately, we're going to have to leave it there for now. Thank you for weighing in on this discussion. Daily Maverick business editor Tim Cohen speaking about the 15th BRICS Summit in Durban, what it means for South Africa and, of course, the ICC.